He just gave me a look and he just did it.
Tony De La Cruz described something no wife would ever want to talk about.
Our son was in the playpen right in front of him. My husband is dying right before my eyes, the love of my life, and there was nothing I can do, and I just begged him, to not leave me.
Just 1 month later, Agent Johnny Tellez killed himself in front of his pregnant girlfriend.
I remember him bending over and grabbing his gun and putting it up to his head.
In all, 7 Border Patrol agents committed suicide in 2009. In the first months of this year, there were 3 more. It's the biggest surge Border Patrol has seen in more than 2 decades. Family members say it isn't all the agency's fault, but things must change.
The agency does run these agents to the fullest, protect, and as if they're robots, and they're not. They're human beings, they feel.
Tony De La Cruz believes the agency's massive growth since 9/11 has caused the Border Patrol to be more focused on numbers and pay less attention to agents.
Making it so large, they kind of lost their way in a sense. I feel that they have so much quantity that they don't have time for the day-to-day problems that agents they need help sometimes.
Watching our southern border is not just a dangerous and stressful job, it's also a solitary one. Agents can spend hours out here by themselves, alone with their problems and a gun, and it just takes 1 second to make an irreversible decision.
He would tell me, he's like, just the fact that you're sitting in the desert in the middle of nowhere in a truck, you're constantly thinking about a million things, all your problems, all your happiness, everything that, is going on in your life, you're constantly thinking about it. Plus, if there's that many more problems, there's a gun right next to you.
Others point to the stress of the dangerous drug war and a suicide rate that is higher across law enforcement than the general population. The Border Patrol did not respond to our repeated requests for an on-camera interview, but despite the numbers, said there is not an uptick or trend toward more suicides. Still, the El Paso sector recently produced this video obtained by the Associated Press.
I guess kind of hard to swallow, especially being that I knew Eddie as a trainee. I knew Eddie, growing up in the patrol.
In the video, family members and friends of agents who have killed themselves talk about the heartbreak left behind.
I blame myself because I thought I knew my son pretty well. He was my best friend. But I look back and I say, he didn't tell me these things.
The video is now shown to new agents and their supervisors in the El Paso sector, and a nationwide suicide prevention program has been ramped up. Not enough to help those who have already lost loved ones, but these women say if it can save one life, it's a good thing.
If I know my husband, he would take it back. But he can't. And there's an enormous amount of pain.
Cristina Vasquez found another way to ease some of the pain. She named her daughter Johnny.
I didn't want to not mention that name anymore. He was somebody that I loved and I adored with all my heart. I would give my life to see him once again. But since I can't do that, I want to at least call him, And I know every time I call my daughter, it's like if I'm calling him. She's the exact same image of him.
Sometimes life goes on, even after it stops. Rich Matthews, The Associated Press, El Paso, Texas.